Hello all my beautiful sisters from those other misters, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing just doing my makeup with the makeup products that I received in my Meccaland goodie bag. This is the finished look, but I have products from MAC and Stila and Too Faced and Bare Minerals by Terry. There's Hourglass, what else? Mecca Max, I think that's everything. I think that's everything. And I do have some additional lip products that I will swatch, but we're gonna get into it. I will leave a list of all of the products used down in the comment section, so you can check that out if you want. I do also have the Ciate Jessica Rabbit collaboration that I purchased at Meccaland, which I will do a video for as soon as I can get around to it. It's funny, you know, like when it rains it pours. I felt like I really didn't have a whole lot of makeup to sort of make videos around, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you don't have enough? Here's 6,000 items, go for your life. And I'm kind of like drowning over here in makeup and trying to work out how I'm gonna find time to film it and edit it, which is sometimes the hardest part. But without further ado, let's get into this look. I play with a lot of things, it's a good time. I'm gonna start with a primer. This is the Too Faced Hangover RX primer. I haven't tried this before, it's been around forever. They call it a replenishing silicone-free face primer, coconut water, probiotic based ingredients, skin revivers. All right, so it's proactive and nourishing. This is a good size for travel. It's what are we, 20 mils. So let's see what this is like. Oh, I've got a cat hair on me. I've got okay, it's a fluid. Oh, it smells good. I've got the cat in with me today. It's currently having a nap. Oh yeah, it smells like coconuts. And maybe, maybe also raw ingredients and a slight, maybe fruity scent, or is that something else on my hands? I don't know. It just feels like a nice hydrating primer. It's got a little bit of grip, but it's not sticky, which is nice. Before I go into doing my base, I'm gonna do it off camera because I don't have any base products. I'm gonna use the Mecca Max Liquid Light in Rose Quartz. It's a liquid illuminator, and I'm just going to highlight my cheekbones, some of the high points of my face. Pretty color. It's quite fluid. Oh, she's a lot. So I'm just going to do this under my base because I don't usually put this type of thing over my foundation. I'll see how it pops through the foundation. So that's a really pretty highlighter. I quite like that. I actually really like the way that looks on bare skin. If I didn't have this going on, all that redness, yeah, I'd kind of be down with just wearing that out. It's really pretty. It's got a slight sort of pinky reflect, but it's not super obvious. I will say that it's got a lot of slip to it. It almost feels a bit like an oil, which is interesting. All right, I'm gonna get a base on, so color correct and foundation, conceal. I'll set it. I'll pop on a bronzer because I don't have one of them to show you. If I do decide to put on a bit more of that liquid highlighter, I'll check back in before I powder. I am gonna go in with a little bit. There we go. I am going to go in with a little bit extra of this, just see how it looks, see how it goes on top of a non-set or unset, non-powdered base. I'm just curious to see how it goes on. I think it looks nice over the foundation. I think it's blended well. When I was applying it with the brush, I did start to notice some lifting. So I would recommend that you tap it on with your finger before you go in. I'm not going to risk putting that over a set base because the consistency of it, I can feel the silicons in it, and I'm concerned that it's going to break down the powder and start to chunk up and lift the base. I'm not going to risk it. Base is down, and before I get onto my eyes, I am going to give myself a little refresh with an old favorite. It's the MAC Fix Plus. Oh, I love this stuff. I would love to see this in a micro mister, but they haven't adopted that sort of technology with their packaging yet. It's fine, it's not going to stop me from using it or loving it or buying it in the future, but that is something that I would love to see them implement. Now, even though I love a micro mister, so I'm like, give us a micro mister version, I actually think that this particular sort of contained spray of fluid or concentrated spray of fluid is really smart if you are trying to revive over powdered makeup. Now, to revive over powdered makeup, you actually need quite a bit of fluid, and you've got to get your face quite wet, because what needs to happen is the powder needs to absorb the fluid and sort of set on the face, back in with the foundation, and start looking like skin again. Now, with a micro mister, you still get that beautiful soft covering of fluid, but it's a very small amount of fluid. So often if you have overpowdered a lot, you have to use a lot of it, whereas the Fix Plus offers a really like a good amount of that to bring it back quickly, so you don't have to spray your face, let it set, see if you're missing spots, spray again, rinse and repeat. So while I would love to see a micro mister version for the days when I'm not too powdered, I still want this to stay in their rotation, because this particular mister is really good for reviving the over powdered makeup, which is kind of like my favorite thing about the Fix Plus. It's like a really generous dose of rehydration when you need it. Since most of my base is done, I'm going to go in with blush. This is the Hourglass Mecca Glow Ambient Lighting Blush. So this was a shade that was sort of pre-released at Meccaland, also called Mecca Glow to celebrate the occasion, but it is available at Mecca now. Beautiful corally shade with champagne sort of marble effect. Let's see how we go on the skin. She's bright. Oh shit, she's pigmented too. Okay, that shade is extremely pigmented and it's really bright. I actually wouldn't say that it's a very flattering color on me personally. It's a bit too, look, I feel like it almost looks a little bit fluorescent in person, and the color does not suit my coloring, unfortunately. All right, let's do these eyes. So I actually have two palettes. Now, this one is from By Terry. It is one of their customizable palettes, or it's like it's a single shade or a multi-shade. You can have up to 3 shades in it. You get to choose them. They press it for you, all that stuff. Now, we don't actually have that service in Australia, but it was at Meccaland. So I was extremely lucky. These are me colors. You're probably not surprised. I do want to play with this today, so I will use both of those shades. I also have the Go Gorgeous palette from Bare Minerals. It's a cheek and eye palette. It contains 8 eyeshadows and 2 cheek products. They're both blushes, or they're marked as blushes. This one looks like it could be a bronzer, but I'm actually going to use this as a blush today, just to go over the top of the Hourglass. We'll see how it looks. Maybe it would work as a bronzer for some others as well. I have actually played with this palette. I do think that this palette looks pretty basic. It looks potentially boring for a lot of people. I don't have an issue with boring colors. Give me a wearable palette any day. I am going to start with the By Terry. I'm going to go in with this shade first. So the cool thing with these By Terry palettes that you sort of create on your own is that they can be used as eyeshadows or blushes depending on the shades that you pick. I mean, if you pick a green shade, you're probably not going to want to use it as a blush, but I chose shades that I could sort of multi-use. I think this particular color that I'm using now would make a gorgeous blush. And I think you all know by now why I chose red. It's my favorite color. I'm gonna go into the red, and I'm using the same brush. Oh my god, I'm kind of scared and excited at the same time. Let's see how this goes on. Okay, I'd say it's a little bit more raspberry. So it does have some pink tones in there, but I will build it up to see what I can get out of it. All right, I got a little bit of skipping with that red, but that's all right. We'll keep going. There's a red shade. I do think it pulls, like I said, a bit more raspberry on the skin, so it's got more pink tones than just like straight up red, compared to what you would see in the palette, but it's very, very pretty. The skipping that I experienced initially, that actually blended out quite quickly. I'm going to dip into this palette now. I'm going to take this shade down here, which is going to be called Mahogany. I feel like that shade actually has some sheen to it, which doesn't appear to in the palette. It looks like it's a matte, but there does seem to be a little bit of sheen. I wouldn't, it's not shimmery, but there is a little bit there, and I think potentially that's just the nature of the pigment that they had, or maybe it is to help with blending, because that color is intense, and based off personal experience with colors like that, they can be really grippy and difficult to blend out and make them look nice and smooth, but this one has no issue with that. So maybe that's why it's got that slight sheen to it. Maybe not. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too far into it. I'm going to continue with this palette. I'm going to use these two shimmers. So the pink one down here is called Tan Lines, and where are we? This one up here is called Cognac. So I'm going to take Cognac on the inner section of the eye. Oh my god. Oh, this is what I love about Bare Mineral shimmers or metallic shades. They just grip so beautifully. This one's Tan Lines, and I'm just going to pop this in the center part. Just taken a little bit more mahogany on this smaller brush. I've like tapped off everything and even like taken off excess on a cloth. And I'm just going to blend Tan Lines and Mahogany together. That Mahogany shade, it's got some guts, so I don't want to overload the look with that shade. You can always add more, but it's very difficult to take color away once you've applied too much. But that is, fuck man, that was just so easy. Everything, those palettes, the By Terry and the Bare Minerals, like this I wasn't sure about. I was like, oh my god, is it gonna be good? I hope it's good. It's good. I love it. Oh, that excites me. It's kind of like I birthed a child. I birthed an eyeshadow child. I'll take Cognac on the inner corner, and I'll take Magnetism sort of along this lower part on the inner section of the eye. Okay, this shade that I'm using is Peace, and I'm just going to put that generously on my lower lash line on the outer corner. It's fairly similar to my natural skin color, so it's not adding a whole lot. This looks like my skin tone, just like maybe a shade deeper, so it just has added like a little bit of dimension back under that eye, where I've like heavily blanked it out with 6 kilos of concealer. But I'm gonna go in with, what were you called again? Namaste, which is this sort of, help, this shade here. While we're still in this palette, I am going to take this shade, which is Beige for Days. Good one, very good. And I'm going to use that as a blush. Wow, it actually picks up quite well. Are you going to be super pigmented? Am I going to regret my life choice? So I definitely think that is way too warm to use as a bronzer for me personally. So I wouldn't do that, but it's a pretty blush. I forgot something. Stila. This is a Glitter and Glow in Deception. Where am I going to put this? In a corner. Let me just show you guys what this one looks like. She's pretty. So she looks pretty pink in the tube, but when you get her on, she has slightly like almost green tinted yellow. There's a bit of like gold reflect. There's also purple and blue and pink in there, but it is kind of hard to show you. I don't know, not really. Can't show you, but it's multi-dimensional. It's very pretty. I'm going to put it on my inner corner. Eye's done. I'm going to set my face. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. It is a special, or it was pre-released at Meccaland, so that's why mine has a Meccaland label on it. But it is a scented one. It's called Summer Solstice Scented, but it's their longwear setting mist thing. You can get this at Mecca now. Get it primed. I don't even know what this smells like, to be honest. There's like maybe a hint of frangipani in there. That's it. That's all I get. But it's not obnoxious. I think it's a nice scent and I'm happy to have it. I have 4 lip products. There's actually 5. Now, the one that is missing is an Hourglass, what's it called again? Unreal High Shine Volumizing Lip Gloss. They released or pre-released a shade at Meccaland called Mecca Glow. I think that's what it's called. I think so. I do have it. I've actually been using it. I really like it. It's pretty. It's like a coral shade. It's in my handbag, and my handbag is in the house, and I don't want to go in the house because it means I need to take off my like beauty room shoes and put on other shoes to like go outside. I can't be bothered. And I know that I actually want to use this shade, which is a shade that I personally purchased at Meccaland. It is called Provoke. That's a Hailey shade. But the other products that we were given in our goodie bag are these guys. And I'm going to swatch them. So I have a YSL lipstick in the shade 52. This custom packaging is really cool. It is a very bright coral shade. Let's swatch your poos. Oh my good God. Far out. That's insane. That is insane. Gorgeous. Not gonna wear it. Not today anyway. Then I have a Mercier lipstick. This is one of the Rouge Essentiel lipsticks. It's in the shade Nude Naturel. Let's give this one a swatchies. Come on. Come on. Oh wow, okay. So what I'm noticing with this, with this particular shade, this is the first one of these lipsticks that I've used. They're actually kind of sheer. That's not really my fave color. I might try and pick one of these up one day in a shade that I would love and adore. I'll try it eventually. And the last one I've got is the Afterglow Lip Balm in Orgasm from NARS. This packaging is stunning. Let's swatchy over here. And it's a lip balm with a soft pink hint to it, like Orgasm. And it looks like there's some gold shimmer in there, but it is so subtle. Pretty color. I will definitely use that. But I've only got one set of lips, not 4 or 5 if I could be bothered going inside and getting the other Hourglass lip gloss, but I can't be bothered. So I'm going to use this one. The applicator on these is massive. It's kind of like a doe foot, but it's softer. All right, where's my mirror? Gorgeous color. The formula is very glossy. Actually quite pigmented too. Doesn't feel sticky, which is nice. The other one that I have in Mecca Glow, also not sticky. And they have like a powdery mint scent. So it smells a little bit like toothpaste. So there are all of the items that were in my Meccaland gift bag, plus one of the items that I purchased. If you picked up any of these things at Meccaland, or if you've picked them up at Mecca since Meccaland, or if you don't even live in Australia, however, you have purchased them in your relevant country, let me know what you think about them down in the comments section. Do you have any faves? Did you feel like some of them were a bit of fails? Let me know. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.